live. Hopefully I have all the
Audio.
oh yeah, mic set good.
Yeah, what's
Well,
up?
what's going on? YouTube and Facebook. Chalk here, Dubs
What
there.
up, what up?
Welcome to the stream.
Make
took
a
the-
photo bomber in the background.
Make a photo bombing right there. Took the last couple weeks off unintentionally. We had a softball tournament, and then I was tired and was sleeping. But
Yeah.
here we are.
We are back.
We are back, and what I meant to do was I think I have it over. This is kind of what I was
Who's watching?
attempting.
No one so far.
Nobody at the moment, but that's okay. This is
I'll
what
see it later.
this is what happens.
Gotta give people time to log in. The Jersey site.
Yep. There we go. And I don't know what Scoot's talking about. He said this was the purple one. Anyway, the first part of the podcast is not technically sponsored by, but we'll go ahead and throw in sponsored by Regulator Softball.
Yep.
Go-
Wearing some of the merch right now.
Yep, go ahead and go
Look good.
to bigleagueshirts.com. You can go ahead and buy some of the Regulator merch here. They're supposed to be adding in the purple variant of this one, like the women wear, and then possibly the pants, which is what I had asked
That
for.
looks purple right there to me.
Does it? See, it doesn't look purple to me. It looks like the blue one. Doesn't that look like blue?
Kinda.
It says right here purple.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's purple.
The screen on your right there looks a little more bluer than that screen looks like, kind of.
I was on the
I don't know.
podcast.
Maybe I'm just blind, but
I mean, if it didn't say purple right here, it would. That's
Right.
blue. I would order this thing and get a purple one going.
Yo,
What the?
hell? Yeah.
But do note, when ordering right here, it does say that jerseys typically run half size large, and you can also support these other teams that you don't know of. But go ahead and head on over to bigleaguesports.com. Go and search, type in Regulators, and you will find these jerseys that you can go ahead and order up as part of the unsponsored sponsorship. Wrong one. There we go. So
That's the one right now. Hey, looking good.
XFL, have you watched it?
I haven't.
So it's week 3, and not surprisingly, the ratings went like here, and they're going like here. They're going down, and everyone's trying to figure out why. I think it's due to A, you had the excitement of the XFL. It's something new. You're gonna watch it the first time, and B, the quarterbacking is awful.
Really?
It is awful
Like
to
missing
watch.
wide open guys, or just throwing it to like the
Yeah.
wrong guys.
Yep.
All of the above.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Like, you have a guy drop back, you have a tight end, you're 1st and 10, wide open, and he throws it to a receiver down, going for the big explosive play, and misses him by 15 yards.
Salesy.
And so you're sitting there thinking, like, man, you really do appreciate, you really appreciate the mid-level quarterbacks of, like, the Ryan
Backups.
Tannehills.
Yeah, the backups.
Like the Ryan Tannehills and the Jameis Winstons, not the Ben Roethlisbergers or the amazing guys. You're like, God, like, you throw Tim Tebow in this league, he's gonna torch them all.
Yeah.
I always thought Tim Tebow was halfway decent.
No, I haven't seen any, so I can't judge myself. But I can imagine that's why those guys ain't in the league. They got to go somewhere else to play. They ain't that good. Can't even make a practice squad. in the
Nope,
league.
and they're saying like the best quarterback in the league would be a solid backup in the NFL. Not a starter. A solid backup. And like you're watching it going, and you're just kind of watching, and it's cool. It's cool to watch because it's football at a time of the year that we don't normally have football.
Right.
But just watching it, the things that they're trying to do to innovate it, I do like. I like once in a blue moon, you'll see the offensive coordinator, and they'll patch it through the live feed, and you'll hear him calling in the play, and then they'll go over to the quarterback, and you'll hear the quarterback, call the play in. So that stuff's kind of cool. So and the really cool thing is when
What's up, Sean?
they do
What's up, Buff? Got Buff and Sean watching. What's up, guys?
really the cool thing is when they do the challenge. You get to, and I don't know if it's a big show or not, but they go and show what the person who's challenging, what that guy's seen, and you hear the conversation between him and the referee. But how much of it is bullshit, how much of it isn't, that's that's kind of hard to know. But
Yeah,
it's
I
cool.
honestly, I forgot about it, dude. To be honest with you, like, because I haven't watched it or hadn't started watching it, so I kind of even forgot it was a thing.
You mean to tell me you're not watching the Seattle Dragons?
Nope.
The 1-1
Like,
Seattle Dragons?
literally, that's the only team I could probably tell you that I remember you listing off the day we were talking about all the teams, was just because you said I like the Dragons.
No, I said I'm going
What's up,
for.
Lee?
I said I'm going for the Dragons.
I'm going for
I said I'm calling it now. I'm picking the Dragons because I don't. Someone's gonna pick the Rednecks or whatever these teams are called after they win the championship. That was always my team.
Yeah, that's my team. From
That
the
was
get-go.
always my team.
You have it
So-
on record now saying I don't watch, but I'm going for the winner.
Well,
That's my team, guys.
I forgot to do. Forgot to do that.
That is kind of funny though. That's the one position out of the whole league that you notice the most. That's like atrocious. Is the quarterback.
Well, and so I'm not an offensive line person, so I couldn't be like, oh, dude, it's the offensive line. Like, when you are somebody who's passionate about a position, like offensive linemen are, or defensive linemen, or linebackers. If you played linebacker in high school and college and stuff like that, you're like, no, dude, like, watch this linebacker. He's great, or he's garbage. And I don't. But you can just tell, like, watching someone drop back and missing wide open receivers, you're like,
sure.
and they're bad throws behind, up and behind. You're like, oh my god.
Everybody could tell a bad quarterback. I mean, you watch enough of them in the NFL to be able to tell.
They
that
can't.
Guy's good. That guy's average.
No,
that guy
that's
blows.
not true. Have you ever seen the Raider fans?
That's
bull.
Hey, Derek Carr, baby. He's good. He's good.
He's gonna go to the Bears too. Watch.
Going to the Bears, huh?
Yeah, they say that they're getting Brady.
Lee wants to know Fury versus Wild. Who you got?
Fury.
Fury, huh? I'm gonna go Wilder.
And I'm only going Fury because that's the only name I recognize. So I don't.
I know Fury got knocked down twice. I think in the first fight, right?
Mm.
Yeah. So I'm thinking he's going down again.
I don't follow as much boxing. I follow way more UFC.
Yeah, I would agree.
Just because the last boxing fight I watched, it wasn't even a big pay-per-view. It was on on HBO during like the middle of a Saturday afternoon, and two heavyweights were going, and I watched the whole fight. And at the very end of it, I'm like, that guy clearly won. Like, in my mind, clearly won. You could tell just by the red and the puffiness in the face.
Right.
Like the damage to the body that was visible just watching the fight, watching this guy pick apart this Russian. They gave it to the Russian. And they said you in boxing, in order to beat him, you have to beat him. He did.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't knock him out, but he beat him up.
More punches.
And like, when they raise the hand, they raise the Russian's hand. The Russian's all like,
He knew
I
he
lost.
but he got the win.
Yep, I lost.
That is one thing about boxing that's always been, is like the decisions. It's like, how the
Yeah,
hell do you guys
but
see that?
The UFC has gotten very bad in their decision making. Last weekend, it's arguable John Jones should have lost the fight.
Really?
In the Reyes fight, Jones versus Reyes. I don't know if you watched it clearly.
No, I
you
didn't.
probably didn't. They went 5 rounds, and Reyes clearly won the first 3.
Mm.
Clearly, one judge gave John Jones four of them.
Oh wow.
Like, the first 2, it's not even a question. Reyes won those first 2 rounds. It's not a question. The third round, I don't think it was a question. I think John Jones. I mean, it was one of those things where, like when GSP won against Johnny Hendricks, I remember at the very end when they're getting ready to announce the winner, going, I can't believe GSP just lost.
Yeah, really.
And then they
raised
and
his
still
hand.
you're like, oh, and it was the
I
same
don't
thing
know
with John
about that
Jones.
one.
Like, the Gustafson Jones fight, the first one was, I don't know, but that judge who gave 4 rounds to Jones should be fired.
Right.
And what the problem is you have athletic commissions that do it. You don't have like an expert in the field. you know, some people who are not into the sport, when you see them like wrestling around the ground, you're like, stand these guys up, let them fight.
Right.
When you know, as someone who trained, you just fought for this position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you are now isolating the arm.
Yep.
You know, you're working. You're doing stuff
just because you don't know that you are working.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, you know, and of course, you as the viewer who casually watches UFC, you want to watch the big knockout,
right,
or the flashy submission, the awesome takedown, stuff like that. But when they're on the ground, you know, I mean, you kind of gotta let them go.
Right.
That's part of the sport.
A lot of people hated watching the ground and pounder guys, just because it's like, man, all they're doing is just wrestling for position and then throwing some punches once they get in position. It's like, well, that's hard to do. I mean, you're out wrestling another dude who's trying to keep you off of him. That's hard.
And you're both
Lee
in
said,
phenomenal
big fight,
shape.
Wilder knocks him out in the third round.
In the third round.
That's a big claim, Lee.
All right.
Big claim.
Well,
big claim. We'll see.
As of 2:15 on Saturday, it was said here first.
It's going down in the third.
If you're that confident, buddy, you should put some money on it. If you're that confident.
Yeah, hey, Sean is watching, Lee, and he's a betting man. I don't know who he's going for, but he might take a bet.
Yeah, I mean, like, that is, yeah. But the next big super fight, I think, period, regardless of sport, is they're talking about after the Khabib versus Ferguson, Conor and Khabib 2. And
be awesome. Khabib's gonna tear him up. The dude's an animal.
I agree. I went for Khabib the first fight. I was pulling for Khabib, and I don't dislike Conor. I think he's a hell of a stand-up boxer, and he's good. Probably one of the best ever. Actually, not probably, one of the best ever. But you're going against a guy who's 28-0.
Mm-hmm.
Lost 2 rounds in his career. Now one of them was to Conor, but still,
that dude's crazy.
The one thing that was crazy about it was not only was he, I mean, he's a phenomenal wrestler, of course, and has, you know, decent power. But what was really shocking was when in their first time when he hit Conor with the overhand right and knocked him back. You know, he fell on his ass, and you're like, and Conor has a damn good chin. You're like, dang, this little motherfucker hit that dude hard.
Yeah, bro. And he ain't afraid to get hit either. He'll go in there, take a couple blows, go down.
Yeah, so that's
Lee also says Fury claims in all of his interviews that he's knocking Wilder out in the second, so I think he's gonna get gassed.
You know.
We'll see, Lee. We'll see. That's a big white dude to knock out that quick.
Oh, and for those of you who are watching and caring, do remember, I think the deadline for signing children up for Little League and softball is upon us. So if you guys haven't done that already, it's rapidly approaching. I think Little League might be done by now, and I think you have until the end of the month for Ponytail. Also, if we're talking about things here locally, the YHS again is selling those buy one get one free coupons for Pizza, Round Table, and KFC. So go ahead and find, you know, a student. Now, I am told, because of the thing that happened with the Taco Bell, has nothing to do with the community. It's all the ownership. They won't be interchangeable. You won't be able to take the Taco Bell one to KFC and stuff like that, like how it was.
Sucks, yeah.
But because of the way the community, like what I was told, the way the community reacted over the horrendous condition of the Taco Bell kitchen. I mean, what are you supposed to say? Oh, that's okay. Right. No, you're not. You're supposed to be like, but, and they were closed. It was well known, and the very next day I drove by, they had a line, so people didn't care.
Right.
So I don't know why the ownership cares that much, but yeah, apparently. So those are on sale. I know. Yeah. Oh, this is also something interesting to talk about. So, not necessarily Origin, but GeForce company, they make video cards for computers. They have just come out with a software. I forget what it's called, but you know, Google was trying to come out with Stadia. and there was shadow play. Well, GeForce, I think, shot in before any of them and released one, and it came to market, and it's phenomenal.
Oh, no shit.
Like, you have to have a steady 15 megabyte connection.
I'm out.
The guy who I watched test it, he tested with a couple different things and was getting, like, at first kind of rough reviews on, like, first person shooters, because he's like, that's where you're going to notice it.
Right.
First person shooters. So originally he was using those power line connectors where you use the Ethernet over power line.
Right.
And I mean, he was getting 100 megabytes on his computer, but when he went just directly into the router, he noticed almost a half a millisecond increase.
Oh wow. That's huge.
And then he had a monitor that wasn't cooperating. Like, he was having technical issues, so he took that monitor out and put in just a regular monitor, kind of like this one, not nearly as good as mine, but one that you'd use for gaming, like a really good gaming TV. And it went from like 25 frames, like from clicking, went from 25 frames per click to 3 frames. Like, just in those two things.
That's crazy.
And what's really crazy about the software is let's say you have a library of them on Origin and Steam and Game Pass.
Right.
When you use this software, when you go to select your game, it asks you, where did you buy it from? Did you buy it from us? Did you buy it from Microsoft? If you say Microsoft, you sign in, it notices it that it's there, you hit play, and off you go.
Oh shit.
Like, so you can have a library of games on multiple platforms.
That's
and play
awesome.
them. And lag, it plays 1080p gaming, so not 4K, but like I don't know what download speed you would need for a stable 4K experience anyway.
Right.
And so, and like that guy was experiencing, he was experiencing up and down on 1080p stuff, but...
Got Cam Dancer, Marissa Atterbury, and Sierra Neely watching.
Congratulations, Marissa.
Congratulations.
We were talking about that, well, not me and Dubs, but me and Scoot were talking about that earlier. I think Kenny's a great name for a boy. And also, it could be spelled with an IE. Great name for a girl, too.
Nope. Don't do it.
What are you going to do, James?
Dubs. Name him after your hero.
The hero?
Yeah. That's awesome. Congratulations.
And then also, 2 weeks, playing another softball tournament, the 7th.
Yeah, I won't be here. I'll be in Reno on vacation.
What?
Yep, I'll be out of town, bro.
How are you?
I got this big money like Sean and them, bro. I'm going on vacation.
How could you afford to go on vacation?
I got free rooms, dude. Free everything. I got free concert tickets, free rooms. So we're going to watch a concert.
Who are you watching?
TLC. Minus the L.
TNC?
Yeah, just TC. Yeah, no, we got a thing for our birthdays or something in the mail or some crap. So
enticing you guys to go down there and spend money is what it is.
Pretty much.
Tells you guys to spend money that you don't have. Go and see TNC.
Yeah, TNC. The old ladies. I'm going to be grandmas by now. Come out with their walkers, yeah. Chasing them waterfalls still. Yeah, bro.
Well, I mean...
Yeah, no. When I told your brother about it, he looked it up and he's like, "Yeah, no, we're good for tournaments." And like the very next day, they posted it on Facebook for that weekend. I'm like, "Oh, of course!" Like, yeah, that's the weekend I'm going. Now they're having a tournament.
And it is the 7th, yeah.
Yep.
That's the one. Yeah, in 2 weeks from now.
Mm-hmm.
Dubs ain't going. Lee ain't going.
Well, Lee might be going now because Dublin Dirty is not that weekend. It's the following weekend.
Lee ain't going. Lee's not going. Lee doesn't play on the regulators.
Are you going? Yeah.
Lee doesn't play on the regulators unless it's in McLeod.
He's a Snappy T
That's
guy.
it.
Snappy
That's it.
T guy now,
That's
Lee?
it. And if Snappy T's got a team in there and they said, "Yo, Lee, we want you to play on McLeod," we would see him in the other campsite playing with the other team and saying this. "Well, you guys never asked me." You know that's true. I mean, I just want to be asked.
Well, Lee. Yeah. When he's right, Lee.
You know, I can only speak from history and experience of what things have happened, and I use that for what things probably will happen.
Yep. History repeats itself.
History does repeat itself.
Yeah, but no, I won't be here for that Reading tournament. Be down in the Reno. Going broke.
Man.
DNC.
DNC. I wish... Well, I don't wish I could go to Reno.
Well,
But...
Say, if you guys wanted to go, I do have an extra ticket. You can pair of tickets you guys could go. Probably extra rooms, too.
For TNC?
Yep.
I'll end up being up there with BDL.
Yeah, that's gonna be me.
I was like, I thought he was left. No, he's the loser, dude.
Yeah,
Look at
that's the
him.
loser in the
Big,
LC.
big old loser. Well, that's a bummer.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh well.
Inflated Chalk's balloon for the weekend.
Yeah.
Sorry, bud.
Well, the rest of us, I guess it's that tournament where they provide the bats and you'll be able to.
Yeah, Levi said the last time they did that, it sucked because they only got to use one bat because they never left that field. I guess it's just a bat per field.
Gotcha,
kind of
gotcha.
Which is cool because, in my opinion, that levels the playing field as far as, oh, these guys got freaking sweet bats and we don't, but
It also gives you the opportunity to
Try
use
new
a
bat.
bat that maybe you would
Right.
never have the ability to use or buy or stuff like that. I mean, I know a guy that used to play with us who has like 36 bats but
Mhm.
never brings any of them.
yeah, and they all stay in his trunk.
He'll see his truck with the wrapper on
Yeah.
and buys more of them.
Claims he hits bombs.
Dude, now, I have heard he has gotten fucking huge.
He does stare at himself a lot. He does
Like
say that
his
all the
arm,
time.
like his arms are so big. He was he got distracted looking at himself in the mirror,
Yeah.
looking at his own arms. But I mean,
I don't know how that translates to baseball or softball, though. I haven't seen it yet.
it doesn't. Have you have you seen him hit?
Yeah.
It
Well, he
doesn't.
hasn't been on our team. So.
That's true. This is also
He
true.
might be
I don't
hitting
know.
bombs for other people.
I don't know. I did hear that he went to Hawaii and watched his pitcher get knocked out, and they just picked up the pitcher and walked off the field.
That sucks.
It's
I've been knocked out, but not by another player. By
Instead
a
of,
fist on the
like,
ball.
getting all up in their face or, throwing a big fit.
Starting
They
to
just
fight.
they grabbed their
Carried him off the
toys and went
field.
home. Well, sorry, buddy.
This will say facts. 100.
Well,
Getting huge, baby. Getting huge.
he's gonna get so big he's not gonna be able to wipe himself.
He ain't gonna be able to play games anymore because he can't reach the controller.
All neck.
Fucking-
So, you haven't watched New Clone Wars yet?
Nope, I'm not caught up. I'm like halfway through season 5, so I'm just about there.
I'm
But
getting good stuff.
yeah, it is good
The-
stuff. Fight scenes are getting epic. Like,
I just showed Nicole the opening yesterday of it. Just the increase in animation. Just like when you get that Disney money. I mean, they had money. When you get that Disney money, when Disney says, "All right, we're making one last season of this," a lot of people want it. We've been kind of, maybe messing up with the Star Wars thing, so let's pour some money into it. It like just the lighting and stuff like that made it look
everything's looking crisp.
made it look good. Made it look really good.
Yeah, no, I haven't got to yet. Hey, what's up, V?
Vanrith, hey Vanrith, I actually have a question for you, buddy. Are you going to be playing on our co-ed team this year? You mentioned last year during one of the games that you were playing.
Yeah, we'd love
you
to
came
have
up
you.
and asked me, "Hey, can I be on your guys' team next year?" And we said, "Yeah." No pause, no gray area,
V's always a regulator.
no gray area. So, are you? And I was just talking about this with Scoo this morning. He said, "When you get a hold of V, because I want to make sure he's going to be on the team." So, hopefully he responds in chat
Yeah.
and lets us know.
We want V. We want V.
We do.
Knowing V, he'll say only if he gets to be the catcher.
He can be the catcher. Kayana's going to have to go play right field.
Sure, sorry, V. You ain't the catcher, bud.
That. Hey, whatever you want to do, V.
Shirts.
Whatever you want to do. But while I'm eagerly waiting for this response from Vanrith, if you guys want to go ahead and help support the podcast, go ahead and check out the merch store here. We got all kinds of
Yep.
DE.
Told you.
DE
He said,
equipment.
"What's up, catcher? I'm in." You got it, buddy. You're the catcher.
All kinds of DE exclusive apparel here. Go ahead and go to teespring.com/store/Chalks Gaming.
Can you zoom in on the Dubs edition?
The Dubs edition. We absolutely can.
Yep, check that out, boys
The
and
Dubs
girls.
edition.
Boom, got the gamer tag printed on the sleeve.
Yeah, it's
Little
kind
logo.
of hard to
Looking good.
This is, as I had told you before, this is made out of that same material that our jerseys are made out of.
Looking good.
So even though it's black, it's gonna be breathable and it's gonna be light.
Oh yeah.
And it comes in a array of
Colors.
Got the Dubsec green.
There you go.
I don't understand the connection, but
Green.
I just ordered today. Guy Sensei
Oh, nice.
in the green.
Oh, hell yeah. Pretty sweet.
Just because I don't wear green.
Right, you have
I'm like-
a green shirt now.
Like, I usually wear dark colored shirts, so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna buy the green one.
Oh yeah, do that.
And then by me ordering it, you get a discount, but it's like 30 cents. It's at $10 and it cost me $10.68
Hell yeah.
instead of $10.99.
Saving money.
Yep.
That
Go
does look
back.
pretty sweet. Turned out nice with Guy Sensei like that, all burning.
Yep. So yeah, you have. I still haven't found out any news on Obi-Wan. I do know that there's a guy named Star Wars Theory. He has a bunch of channels that are all theory based. One of them, Star Wars Theory. He spent like $160,000 to make a episode of like a Star Wars movie. I don't know how long it was. Never watched it. And then Disney shut him down. Like, no, you can't make money off of this kind of thing. If you want to continue doing it, you have to use your own money. You can't take crowdfunding. You can't take a company money. Like, there was a company that wanted to give him $5 million to finish off the rest of the story.
They shut his shit down.
Disney said, nope, can't do that. And the crazy dude, instead of like, because he's a YouTuber, so instead of putting his money and investing it or buying a house, because that's what he wanted to do, was buy a house, he's taking his $200,000 and doing another freaking episode.
What?
It's like, dude, you would have just spent $360,000 on things you can't make money on.
Dude, why doesn't Disney just hire the guy and help, like,
Right.
give him the money and be like, now you're going to make stuff for us. Make
Right.
us money, make you money, and the fans
Well,
are
and
gonna
so
like
what?
it.
But they don't have to do that. They don't have to do that. Disney doesn't, and the reason why they don't have to is he has to monetize his video because it's their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So all the money he makes off there, Disney gets.
Oh, yeah, they're going to get it anyway.
So they get it
Without
so
paying them.
he had like, I think it would have. I don't remember the number he said that he would have made, but it has millions of views. It's not like that Obi-Wan Vader fight. It's not that video.
Okay. Probably one of like the Darth Maul ones where like they're in the forest kind of ones.
Right, except
Those
for
are
like
good, too.
it's supposed to be. I never watched it, but they had it like in actual movie theaters.
Oh shit.
Like I'd seen on TikTok like a bunch of the cosplayers went and watched it.
That's
like
badass.
they were all jacked up to go see it.
I like watching all those fan ones they do about the Darth Maul battles in the forest when he's fighting all the freaking Jedis and just wrecking house like
Yeah.
5 of them.
The thing was all that money like went to Disney. Now there's other people who are doing it, just like you said, and they're not doing it by what LucasArts says you have to do. You can't take crowdfunding. Like other companies are doing it, but because this guy is like a YouTuber with over 2 million subscribers, he doesn't want and he contacted. I think he made the mistake of
trying to get
contacting
their
them
approval.
and hoping that it would be okay. I think that's where it went. But like, still, he's gonna drop $360,000 into
To make 2 fan films. Yeah.
make believe things. like it's one thing to drop $360 in a make believe
Right.
thing. That's a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
But $360,000, that's a hell of a house you could buy.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, and
For
buy,
sure.
not like finance, to own. And
Right.
you'll,
That's
you know,
your
when
home.
when the YouTube stuff dries up, and who knows if it ever will, that home won't go away because you
Right, that's
paid
yours.
for it.
It's
You
your
bought
property.
it.
Yeah, you would only think, somebody doing it that extreme is with the hopes of, I get famous enough to get, enough
Right.
compensation
Yeah.
back to make it worthwhile. Like,
Yep.
otherwise, what's the point?
And he
So
does
you're just
want to
giving it
be
all up.
he does want to be a like a film director and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So you would think, because of what what that video did, you would think that there would be some companies. Obviously, there is. Some company want to pay him $5 million to finish off
it.
the story. So obviously, there's interest in him, and he like the first part. I think where it is the very first episode he did. He wrote but didn't direct. The next one is he's writing and directing, and I think he's gonna like use this as like, these are the two things I've created. Here's my body of work. Maybe we'll get a job doing that.
Somebody
and now he has body of work of,
Sure.
I can help with I've done production, I've done writing,
Got
talent.
his hands in everything.
Yeah. So,
Right.
but yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that would be, to me, that's the only end game by spending that much money, is to get noticed and picked up by LucasArts or Disney or somebody, somebody that wants to, hey, this guy's a genius.
no
man.
chance. I would not spend $360,000.
Dude, no, I
No
agree.
way.
I agree.
No
I'm not
chance.
On that dedication
Nope.
of trying to make a movie.
Nope, I would contact LucasArts and they would say no, and I would shut her down.
End of my dreams. I killed the dream.
I said, you know what? I can't make any
Disney.
money off of it.
Mickey
I'm not
Mouse.
gonna drop $160,000 on the first one. I commend the guy's dream, but
Dedication,
man
bro.
alive, I'm
It's
looking at a
dedication.
guitar book that took me years to buy. It cost me $30. I'm like, I don't know if I want to spend $30 on that thing. Like,
Dude spent 300,000
I don't know.
on anything.
and I consider myself cheap when it comes to certain things. I don't consider myself a cheap person, but when it comes to doing an investment where I know I'm making zero money,
Mhm.
I ain't doing it.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
Absolutely not gonna do it.
That's a big gamble.
Yeah.
Huge gamble.
But
That's crazy.
now, Scoo did send me a photo.
What's up, Destiny? Destiny is watching.
Scoo did send me a photo of the Black Edition regulator jersey.
Yeah.
It looks like
Edition number 9002.
it looks like it's what he did was he took what was there, and then did like it negative,
Yeah,
like
the sliders.
Well, do you know what I mean by like when you take something and you just change it into its negative form?
Right, like a negative print, like a.
Yeah, and so I mean, it doesn't look bad. One thing I can say for sure is, and that's gonna be kind of hard to see, it looks
Raider
hot. It looks hot.
And the Raider Nation's gonna love it.
Now I do
Raider
get that
colors.
it's a sweatshirt, so you're not gonna be wearing it during the summer. You wouldn't think, but yeah, I'm good with the. I don't even remember the designs I said that I liked.
The last one that we had all decided on was this variation, but the white was blue, and the guy was white for the hoodies.
Yeah, I don't even remember anymore. I don't, and yeah, I don't even remember. But all I know is we do have a tournament next weekend. Apparently.
Destiny said, "What's up, guys?" and fuck the Raiders. That's right, Destiny.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
This is a peaceful podcast, Destiny. Damn.
I mean, someone's got to finish last. What the hell? I think that they should take the worst team in the divisions and they have to go play in the XFL.
That'd be hilarious, because if they lose in the XFL too, then they just gotta leave the NFL for good. They're just
Well,
out.
and so a couple years ago, the coach of Alabama said that he thought his team was so good that they could beat NFL teams. And first of all, let's just go ahead and say that's bullshit, because these are children,
Right.
18-year-olds,
Playing against
versus grown-ass men. That will never happen. But if it did happen, you would have to, like, in history, pick out, like, the Lions that went 0-16.
Right. The worst team.
Like, the worst team in
Yeah.
history.
Yeah.
And even then, that team had not Bobby Wagner, but I forget his name. He played on the Seahawks and won a Super Bowl, and like is a phenomenal player. So even then, they were still good.
Right.
I mean, they just
they're still pros. I mean, they made it to the NFL.
they just
The only way that
were
happens
awful.
is if you put Mark Sanchez on the other team.
Mark Sanchez is right there with
The butt fumble guy.
yes, I know who Mark Sanchez
Put
is.
him on there. And
Mark
then you got a
Sanchez,
chance.
I would take in a heartbeat
Oh, please.
over Derek Carr. Mark Sanchez took his team to the championship game 3 years in a row.
I don't think
Once
that
as a
was Mark
rookie.
Sanchez.
It was.
No way.
Yes, it was.
No, I think
He
you
was
could've
good.
plugged in
He was good.
quarterback there
Hey,
and
you think
take
they
it
could
there.
have, but you know what? They didn't. They
That's
put
true.
Mark Sanchez
That's
in there.
true. They
Now,
put-
yes,
that is true.
he did have the butt fumble,
Sanchez.
and finished. I don't even remember where he finished off his career, but I mean, like, his rookie year had as good of a rookie year as you would want to have. You know, you're a highly prospected guy. You go in, you get drafted by the Jets. You take them. I think they beat New England in New England. They go to the championship game and then lose, and then they go back. They lose a few years in a row. That's where Rex throws his freaking shit down on the ground and gets all pissed off because they can't get to the Super Bowl. But apparently, according to the CBA, the new collective bargaining agreement that the NFL is trying to do, like, you don't make shit if you make it to the playoffs.
Really?
You make, like, everyone makes like $70,000 a game. Everybody. Tom Brady, all of them.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
your contract is at 17 years. Now, of course, you in your contract may have incentives
Right.
that vary things,
Right,
based
for a
upon
team.
your production.
Right.
But everyone makes the same amount. So right now, the NFL's trying to go to an 18-game season, and the players want a 16-game season. And what they would end up doing is they would start the season earlier, get rid of a couple of the preseason games, and then they would add one more regular season game, and then on wild card weekends you would have one more game per
Wow,
side.
yeah, that'd be cool.
So instead of 2 games a while, you get 3.
Right.
So it extends the playoff bracket just a little bit longer. I don't know how that works with first round buys and all that, but
You're gonna have a lot of pissed off Raiders fans getting rid of the preseason, dude. Not gonna win
that's
any
like,
games.
yeah,
They
that's
can't
what they
go
always
4-0
say.
in the
We had a hell of a
preseason.
preseason. We had a hell of a preseason. But no, that's kind of their proposed deal. But by doing that, like, they're talking, like, the players want 1.5 extra percent collectively.
Mhm.
And the owners don't want to surrender the 1.5 collective percent.
Cheap, bro. I mean,
This
they're
is
making billions.
five-
Just give it to them.
$5 billion is what 1.5% is.
Yeah, but that's
$5
a lot of players. Though. I mean,
billion
it's-
dollars.
So what?
And so but by the two weeks that they're trying to add, the NFL is going to make way
It's
more.
probably like 10, 15
Way
billion.
more.
Yeah.
And so
Enough to make it like it's nothing.
right now the NFL is making around 33 billion. Like, Fox, NBC, and CBS went just to have it. They paid $1 billion just for the games. Just like for, like, when you watch the crappy
Right.
Raiders play against the Dolphins, and you're like, oh my god. Like,
Yep.
CBS paid $1 billion for the whole year just to show you that crappy game.
That's That's
So, and when you look at all the rest of the leagues of what the owners versus the players get, the NFL is the most unbalanced, but the NFL is the most profitable too.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Well, that's
they're
why.
not you're not swinging 1.5% of $5 billion in the NBA.
Right.
Hell, hockey almost folded a few years ago. Like, that just doesn't happen. So it's crazy. And a lot of people would be like, you're getting paid to play a game. Shut up. Blah 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 blah. And I kind of get some part of it of like, hey, I make $70,000 if we make it to the playoffs.
Right.
Like, that's more than most people make a year.
Right.
But most of these players are there for 1 year. Like, realistically,
Sure.
most of these players, and not your Peyton Mannings, not your Derek Carr, even your Derek Carrs, most of these players are there for 1 to 2 years. They're talking about making the minimum for the practice squad. You get paid to be on the practice squad team $10,000 a week, but it showed the average practice squad player is on the practice squad for 3 weeks
Just
per
that.
team.
Yeah.
And then they get cut, and then maybe they move, maybe they don't. They could go 7 weeks without having a job.
Right.
And so yeah, $30,000 is a lot of money, but when you're sitting around waiting and not getting paid, and
not relatively compared to what your company's making or the business is making behind that. I mean, you're getting that fraction of a dollar compared to billions.
You as an athlete trying to make it, you still have to eat. You still have, eat right and eat healthy and train and
keep
go
shape.
to these places and try out. It's not cheap. They don't fund all this stuff. So that 30,000 gets chewed up quick. Now, I would be like, $10,000 a week to do what? Absolutely. But I get what they're saying. I completely get what they're and nobody's worth $1 million, period, for anything.
Yeah, no.
Like, no athlete, no it's weird, like, people will talk about, their particular athlete as this heroic icon, and then there'll be the very next person who's drumming on their thing about the veterans, but yet, like, they don't really, like, Derek Carr getting paid $34 million. Why don't you pay him $1 million and have all the owners give $30 million to the government to put these guys in houses, right? But no, that's not gonna happen. We're gonna wipe that off the table. And so there's a big imbalance there. Yeah, and then I refer to them as the wall building crowd. Them wall builders, man.
The builders.
Them wall builders, they have
Everybody forget though, Bob the Builder's arch nemesis is Handy Mandy, and that little guy will tear that wall down. Watch out.
How dare you ruin our flag and disrespect our flag while taking a knee? This is my favorite thing. Like, while taking a knee, while Bubba over there is Yeehaw shitting his pants in freaking American flag underwear. That's not disrespecting it at all.
Sidney Moreno Jones is watching.
Oh, that might be Poppy.
Or Poppy?
Because he asked me, hey, and he reminded me of Lee. Hey, where can I watch the podcast on? I said, well, you can watch it on Facebook or YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube. Like, you should have those apps. Oh yeah, I don't know if I do. We can download them for free. Well, I mean,
do I really want to download it just to watch these two clowns?
He goes, and he doesn't even know, like,
sure.
He's an elder man, not knowing technology.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't want to take up my numbers. You don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that means. Taking up my numbers. But no, that's the best part of whenever people talk about, like, people disrespecting and the flag. It's like, yeah, you only care about it, like, let's be realistic here. You only care about it because black people doing it.
Right.
Like, that's why I say it's the build the wall, wall crew. Like, because, like,
Tom Brady would have did that, dude. It wouldn't have been an outrage as big as it is.
And I said this. If Dale motherfucking Earnhardt at the Daytona 500 X amount of years ago was feeling something and protested it, that would be his goddamn American right.
Yeah, he'd be a hero.
He'd be a goddamn hero. And I agree that, like, now
all kinds of freaking death threats. Now, don't you talk about Dale Earnhardt.
You goddamn he's national treasure. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. Exactly what I'm talking about. Now, do I think, I heard from Trevor Noah, the guy from The Daily Show. Because I think, if you're upset about a certain thing, the worst thing you could do is riot. Because, like, let's say you have your own business, and I'm rioting, and I destroy all your shit. But you were just sleeping.
Right.
That's all you did.
Yeah.
You went home, you went to bed, you woke up, and now your life is ruined.
You fucked my shit up.
Now your life is ruined because I'm unhappy. Right. And that I don't agree with. And so people in general have to be able to find a way to, if they're upset collectively, do it in a peaceful way. Now, again, here's another part of the Build Your Wall crew. They had a big old march, a couple weeks ago where thousands of them with their freaking guns, and no one said shit about that. Right, all they said was, look how peaceful these were. Yeah. Look how peaceful this was. This is the way you do it. But it's like, oh my God, I just want to shoot myself. Mm-hmm. But no, like, and I think that maybe, like, I don't understand what kneeling at the flag was proving. It didn't do anything. Like, you didn't solve anything. I feel that your old buddy there, Kaepernick, was like, his career was going down the hill.
Yeah, he's just trying to stay relevant. Dude.
Yeah, his career was going down the
1,000%.
hill, and he wasn't. You know, his coach left. He wasn't as hot as he was, and what's the best way to do something? Come up with something to rattle people up, and boy, did he.
Yes, sir.
He hit the wrong chord, I think.
Especially him, of all people, trying to say he's standing up for equality, you know, for the black man that's being oppressed. It's like, bro, the way you were raised, you're not being oppressed. You got millions of dollars. Like, yeah, you're doing it all
And
wrong.
I believe that, yes, there's people, regardless of color, in this country and in the world that are being oppressed. Absolutely. And if you want to talk about it, go right ahead, especially if you're in a free country. If you're not in a free country, you might want to watch what you say.
Right?
But, you know, so I do agree with that. But, like, be up here when you do it.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
And it was kind of like that Ricky Gervais when he went out there and roasted all
Everybody.
of them.
Yeah.
And then they proceeded to go do exactly what he said they were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, are you just a drone of the fabric of society now? And a lot of people on my Facebook feed are just a drone of the fabric of society.
Oh, sure.
Like when you read their fucking
Their opinions.
their pro yeehaw,
Yeah.
like you're almost like, there's some conversations I read, I'm like, I feel like I'm at a rally. Like I do. It's like reading this, it's like,
Where's your MAGA hat, bro?
it's like, dude, do you guys read the bullshit you're saying? Like, people are saying how Melania Trump is this and that, and how she's so beautiful and all this stuff. Whatever, that's your opinion, whether I agree or disagree. And how come she's never on magazines? Well, she used to be.
Right.
And she didn't have that much clothing.
Yeah, yeah.
And I promise you, all the people who love her now hate if you show that and you just cover her face.
Mm-hmm.
How dare
Yeah,
you?
it'd be disrespectful to show her off like that, you know.
Or
Even
just any
without knowing,
woman,
yeah,
any
showing
woman.
off the body. Yeah.
You know, and so that's the hypocrisy of
What's up,
it.
Amy Garcia.
That's
Amy
that's the
Swanson.
hypocrisy of the whole shebang.
Yeah, that's just the whole argument behind the J-Lo and Shakira freaking. Oh, they showed too much skin on.
It
the
was
Super Bowl.
amazing.
I liked it. Nobody complained freaking the year before when Adam Levine's out there strutting half naked, topless.
The only difference is I didn't realize that Jennifer Lopez had such amount of shitty songs.
I never knew she was a famous singer. She was an actress and a dancer.
I remember, like, in the 90s, she had a song, and I don't even remember what the song was. And I was shocked at how many popular songs Shakira had.
She was Selena, bro. That's all that matters.
That is true. She was Selena.
Salinas.
She was Selena. But I was shocked about how many... And again, there's another topic right there. Why do we have to make it about the amount, like, you know, the first time two Latina women headlined the Super Bowl?
Right.
Like, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that they're Latinas. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
who cares? They're just two women. Like,
Yeah,
great.
two women are going out there at their age, kicking ass, singing, you know, doing what they love, what they've always dreamed of doing. I mean, obviously the Super Bowl is probably not what they dreamed of doing, but their career is what they dreamed of doing. You know, doing their thing and enjoying themselves. Hey, and I enjoyed them enjoying themselves.
I did too. I wasn't complaining. I enjoyed the view.
And I mean, I just was like going, yeah, I think Jennifer Lopez should go back to whatever voting show she was on. I'm sure she was judged somewhere. And I don't know where.
Shakira was a judge on one of them too.
Probably.
The spinning chair one.
The spinning chair one. Yeah.
That's
but
what you do when you're a singer and you're coming downhill. You gotta start being judges.
well, that was like
judge people.
that was like the Dave Chappelle one. Hello, Dancing with the Stars. Not yet.
Yeah,
If you see me up there getting critiqued on my cha-cha,
Yeah.
you know it's over.
yeah, career is done.
And that's exactly what it feels like. It's like you have these people who are attempting to stay relevant, and they do I mean, that's what The Apprentice was.
Sure.
The
Absolutely.
TV show with Donald Trump. That's
Yeah.
exactly what that was. You know, you were an old, burnt-out '80s rocker or whatever, and you're trying to stay relevant, and you know, more power to them. But
Yeah, you become a host of something. Like Steve Harvey. Now you're a host of everything.
yeah,
Gotta
yep.
stay popular somehow. I
Yeah,
gotta be a host.
There's that guy over in the UK. He's like the same thing. The Graham Norton show.
Yeah.
He like hosts everything.
Yeah, Graham Norton.
Like he has, and kind of like Steve Harvey and Ellen, like they have a game show here and they have this
Mhm.
here and they have that there. It's like Yeah, I get, they're staying busy. You got to make that money.
Stay
But
popular, stay relevant.
Yep.
Stay in the public eye.
Yep. But
That's what we're trying to do.
well, we're trying to get into the public eye.
We're trying to get popular.
We're trying to get into it. It's one thing to stay into it. It's
right.
another thing to get into it.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
I was watching an old stand-up of Daniel Tosh, and he's like, everyone gets their 15 minutes of fame. It's like, that's an average. He's like, this is how it really is. 0, 0, 0, 0, 20 years, 0.
20 years. Tosh.
That dude is
It
hilarious.
is funny.
He was recently in the, everyone is always recently getting fucked up for things that they say. He was recently getting fucked up for, he had made a comment about rape. Now, what the part that they took out of it was him saying, like, the woman said in the crowd, rape is wrong, and he said, wouldn't that be funny if 3 people raped her right now? That's what they said.
No,
When you step back and look at the whole thing, well, he was there, he didn't have any material. They all, like, told him to go up there and do something. He's like, guys, I don't even have material, and blah, blah, blah. He's like, so I don't even know what you guys want me to talk about. And somebody in the crowd yelled, rape. And he's like, really?
yeah,
You think that's funny? And so he's kind of like, not even kind of, he's busting this dude's balls about it.
Right. And
Like,
took it out
like
of
you
context.
sick motherfucker, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then a woman shouts out, rape is wrong. He's like, yeah, no shit. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Right.
And then he's like, wouldn't it be funny? Like, just being himself, being
Right.
Daniel Tosh. So all of that 5-minute rant gets disregarded.
Yeah, just that one little
And like,
snippet.
I was watching on Joe Rogan, they were talking about this one guy had a problem with it, and Joe's like, wait, well, hold on. Do you know the full shebang
Right.
about it? Well, no. And he tells him, he's like,
That's why I like Joe Rogan
Oh.
too, because he's always a realist. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. He
No,
calls
and-
bullshit where bullshit needs to be called.
yep. And I mean, and a lot of people think it's weird. I think it's really depending on where you sit on the political spectrum. But a lot of people, like, on the left think he's hardcore right because he hunts.
Oh, Joe
A lot of
Rogan.
people on the right think he's hardcore left, and he even admits he's more left than he is right. But he's like, when he's having conversations with them, it's just him talking.
Right.
It doesn't matter. His political view doesn't matter
Right.
unless
It's
they're
just a conversation.
yeah, and he wants to. What I like about him, he wants to know what gets you to think that way.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that way about space or
Right.
the trees growing? What
Because he's
and
always taking DMT.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Expanding his mind, man.
he's like look, and he does the typical kind of like this thing that smart people do and say, look, I'm stupid as fuck. Always like claim
Right.
I'm stupid. When in reality, when you listen to him talk, he's incredibly intelligent.
Right.
Same thing with like Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart's incredibly intelligent, whether you like him on his political beliefs or not. When you listen to him, he's very an intelligent person. But he uses the comedian as like kind of like a shield.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of bullshit, kind of not. But Joe Rogan is fucking hilarious.
Oh, yeah,
And who's that guy the fat guy who takes off his shirt? He's a stand-up. He's a stand-up comedian. And some dude, he always takes off his shirt. And like, I didn't think he was very funny at first, but I just listened to him on a podcast where he's just being himself. Dude is hilarious. I mean, just flipping, like, he's absolutely hilarious. He was talking about the XFL, and he's like, what they should have done is they should have had them. Tampa Bay should have been called the Tampa Bay Strippers, and they should have came out and half their pads showing. And then he's like, you wanna fix the XFL? What I want to see is like have corporations buy a position. Out here, our wide receivers, Doug from accounting.
This is average Joe.
Fulfilling
really
his
funny.
lifelong dream of being a wide receiver
That would be
and
fucking
watching him
epic.
just get freaking destroyed.
Yeah. That'd be me. That'd be Doug. I'd be out there getting crushed.
And I thought, just listening to him talk about it, he's like, because, honestly, the LA Wildcats, I don't have any investment in you guys. I'm just here because I want to have a good time, and I remember this guy. I'm like, oh, I remember him from college. I went to go buy his jersey. They don't even sell the jerseys. They have one jersey. It's like, and so,
Nicole Jones is watching. What's up, Nikki?
hey babe, we're getting to. Sorry, we're having fun.
Yeah.
We're laughing.
Yeah.
We'll keep it down.
Simmer down in there, boys.
We'll keep it down. I apologize.
For Lee.
But again, so I think that's gonna be about it for today.
Right on. Wrapping her up.
One more time.
Thanks everybody for tuning in again.
Unless you have anything that you wanna
no,
BS about.
We're good.
As a reminder, you guys can go ahead and go to Big League. They should put shirts there. That's what the website's called.
Big League Shirts.
Yeah, it's Big League Shirts. BigLeagueShirts.com. You guys can go ahead and go in the search area, check out the regulator stuff. This here again is the white, yellow, and purple. I am told that Stu's supposed to contact them about trying to get the blue one added on there. And again, it does say jersey size. Jersey size typically run a half size large, so if you're a medium, get a small.
Right.
Because I got an extra large, and that thing's like a parachute. It
or
is
if
like
you're just fat like me, just get your normal size and it'll fit.
I remember putting it on and like go to the softball field, and a few of the girls are like, "That's way too big on you." I know.
Just a little bit.
So go ahead and stop by BigLeagueShirts.com, search up for regulators, and then you can also go to Cox Gaming on Teespring.com and help support the podcast. Every shirt here you buy, we make a whopping 16 cents on. Damn. I can always increase it, but I figured right now we're gonna be the only people buying it.
Getting
so
rich and famous.
hey, doing it. Gotta do what you gotta do.
That's right. Gotta start somewhere.
That's it for now, and catch you all next week. Obviously, we won't be podcasting on the 7th. I will be live from the field, and Dubs might do a special live broadcast from the TC show.
Hey,
so
we'll see.
Yeah.
All right.
But that's it, guys.